Howdy, howdy, howdy. This is Rodfather 916 with another episode or a review of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This is season 2, episode 4. Friendship Roulette. The episode begins as the last episode ended with the fight between Jen and Meredith. Meredith's done. She wants to leave, but Lisa is trying to keep her there so they can make up, so they can make nice. You know, she wants her 3 friends back together, all 3 of them back together. But Jen is having a just tantrum. At one point, she takes off her diamond bracelets and throws it into the snow. Lisa goes looking for it, and she finds it, and she gives it back to Jen, who throws it again. $70,000 worth. Now, lady, you gonna need that bracelet later to pay your lawyer, but I'm gonna move on because we haven't gotten that point. Meanwhile, Whitney and Heather are watching the show, and they also want Jen to apologize, but Jen is still playing victim, like, why? Why? I say, why is everybody picking on me? Jen's assistant, Stu, told Jen, listen, you need to make peace with the other women and yourself. That doesn't mean you have to necessarily apologize or say you're sorry, but you need to make peace. So Jen apologized to Meredith. However, she said she was going to talk to her staff. It's an apologizing without apologizing. Lisa visits her friends Sarah Jane and Angie. Angie is planning a fundraiser at her house for the LGBT community charity called In Circle. This event is really important to Angie and her husband as their child is transgender. We learned that Lisa and Angie have a passion for fast food. Angie says KFC's coleslaw is next level. KFC's next level? You don't get out. But I'm liking Angie. I hope they bring her on as a friend or possibly a housewife. I get good vibes from her. Over at Mary's, it's a different day, same argument. She and her son, Robert Jr., still struggling. Meredith visits. Her face is a little red. She's had the vampire facial. If you're not familiar with the vampire facial is, they take your blood and they take the blood out of your arm and they put it on your face. And it's supposed to make you look fresher, younger. Is this something you'd consider? Hit me back in the comments. Blood on your face. You'll live forever. Mary asks Meredith if she's going to the party. Because, they both have issues with Jen and kind of don't want to see her. Mary and Jen's relationship's been rocky. Although Jen apologized, she went back to her own trip. She went on social media posting a picture of an older man and a young child. And then on the same posting, she takes a picture of herself and her husband, which is technically her grandfather, and puts social media. Not cool. So, Mary ain't necessarily feeling Jen. That apologize was probably as thin as a diet potato chip. Angie and Whitney, or should I say, Whitney met Angie through Lisa and later learned that they had the same grandfather. In a confessional, Whitney says, it's really important when you live in Utah to do your genealogy to make sure you're not dating your second cousin. Angie told Lisa that she was inviting Whitney to the casino night. Now check this out. 5 hours after Lisa's visit and talking to Angie, Angie receives a text from her caterer. In the text, and I got to read this to make sure I have it right, the caterer told that they spoke to Lisa's staff and didn't feel it was a right event for them, and they decided to host events in restaurants for Lisa. And they were going and that was the direction that they decided to go in. Basically canceling, almost last minute. Upset, Angie calls Whitney. And Whitney says, I don't think it was just a coincidence. It's the night of the party. Angie's living room is transformed to a casino. The theme of the night is the 1970s, so people are dressed in the 1970s garbs. At the fundraiser, the ladies are given real diamond necklaces to wear and to purchase if they chose. Jen Shaw is not popular with most of the ladies. A couple of ladies actually climbed over a banister to avoid her. Meanwhile, Lisa walks in and gives Jenny this big hug. Mega inches away, I'm talking about mega inches away, is Whitney in bright neon pink, and Lisa ignores her. At one point, Jen sit next to Mary at the party. You can tell by Mary's body language, listen, bitch, I ain't feeling you, but listen, I can be civil. Jen makes casual conversation how the family should get together, the kids, the husbands, everybody should get together. But Mary gets right to the point, and she talks about the social media points. Jen sort of ignores it, but you can tell that Mary's super cautious. So anywho, there are questions. Angie's a bit salty. Why would the caterer who agreed to supply the food just up and canceled? Angie questions Lisa and told her how the caterers pulled out. Lisa immediately says, look, this has nothing to do with me. Angie told someone and called them, she called them and someone threatened them, meaning the caterer, and shut it down. And everyone I've talked to thinks you're involved. Lisa, out of the blue, brings up Whitney and how Whitney's trying to hurt her. Angie questions the tense relationship between Lisa and Whitney. And she compares it with the relationship that Lisa has with Jen and Meredith, because they're both contentious. And I think what Lisa was trying to say was, listen, if the three of you guys can coexist, why can't we coexist? Lisa's very defensive. We're okay. We're good. We're good. Lisa is pissed. So she jumps off the sofa and she immediately goes looking for Jen and Meredith, who have no idea what's going on. They're in separate conversations. Cool where they are. But Lisa's like, no, I need you to come. I need you to come. I need you to come here. The two ladies enter the room, and Angie asks Meredith, if Jen gets in the way of your friendship with Lisa, because I feel she does, how do you react? Meredith says, well, get in the way, no. But does Jen hurt my feeling and Lisa hurts my feeling? Yes. Lisa's surprised by Meredith's answer. So now there are four of them in the room. Angie, Lisa, Jen, and Meredith. Angie's asking everybody to sit down so she can tell them the story, because they clearly don't have a clue what's going on. Lisa's crying now, saying, I'm so upset. Jen Shaw sits down and just relieved that she's not in the center of this shit. It has nothing to do with her, so she's cool. Angie Husband joins him on the sofa. Angie tells a story about the caterer and that she called Whitney and asked Wendy to read the text. Whitney enters the room. Lisa's infuriating. Why are you here? Why are you here? And so Whitney explains why she's there. And Lisa's infuriated that Angie called Whitney instead of her. Whitney sits next to Angie's husband on a small chair. Lisa is really pissed. Why are you here? And Whitney says, would you like me to leave? And she looks over at Angie and says, why would you let someone who doesn't like me read the text? Angie asks Whitney, Angie asks Lisa how Whitney's been mean to her. Every time I breathe. Whitney says, look, the timeline is fucking weird. 5 hours after she told you I was coming, the canceller canceled? So Whitney goes on. She said, listen, you asked Angie not to tell anybody I knew you. You asked her not to follow me on social media, not to tell anybody that we were related. And Lisa wanted to know why Angie would seek out a relationship with anybody like this, meaning me. Lisa turned to Angie and says, why would you tell everything she said? And, she's got a point. That's not something I would share. If I knew my friend hated you, I wouldn't go and tell them exactly what you said. But this is reality TV. Lisa leaps off the sofa crying. This time, it's Jen and Meredith trying to keep Lisa from leaving. Lisa insists everything is Whitney's fault. Everything. Now, they say you never should judge a book by its cover. Whitney is blonde. She's ditzy. She has a high voice. But that chick can read. Whitney says, I got a PhD in Whitney and Lisa. I got a PhD in Lisa. When Lisa screams, it means she's being challenged. When Lisa cries, it's because she doesn't want to deal with it. She said when Lisa walks away, it's because she's guilty and she's been caught red-handed. They say reading is fundamental. And Whitney, that youngin', can read her ass off. This is the end of the review of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I hope you like what you've heard. Share it with your friends if you did. It's a good show so far, and this show was all kind of juicy. Lisa's a piece of work. I mean, that's pretty bad. I mean, if she does this to her friends. So anyway, this is a raw father getting out of here before 13 and a half minutes. Wishing you love, joy, and happiness. Please take care of yourself. I mean that. It ain't over. Wear your mask. Meanwhile, I'm out of here. Bye.